You never truly know how much stuff rattles in your car until you turn the radio off, you put the windows up, and you get ready to record a Cone on the Road. Then you know. But hey everybody, this is another installment of Cone on the Road. Today we're going to talk about general state of the content that I'm making and just some overall thoughts on the current situation, as well as giving you a little bit of an update as to how things are going up here in North Carolina. I haven't really done a whole lot of Cone on the Road stuff since I've moved, and things, well, it's been a difficult time to have done the move and everything like that, but we'll cover that a little bit later. Those that follow this channel and have followed for a while have probably realized that things have changed, and the things I talked about in the last Cone on the Road definitely came to fruition. I have moved all of my gaming content to Twitch and no longer produce any gaming content for YouTube. I didn't really do that with any great announcement, or I don't know, I didn't really hype it at all. I didn't really do anything to make it obvious because I didn't want to. I didn't want it to be a big thing because it wasn't really a big, it wasn't something great. It wasn't something wonderful. It was something that I had to do, basically. I just reached a point at which I realized making gaming content was no longer something that was a proper use of my time, and it was certainly not a proper use of my brain. It was something that was just overall a net loss for me in life, basically. So it was time. It was time to cut loose. It's been 5 years, 6 years, who knows how many years it's been. It's been a long time of doing that stuff, and from day one, it was always in my mind that I would be a Let's Player, a person that makes videos based on gaming content, and especially, I was always pretty obsessed with the idea, the notion of Let's Play sim racing kind of stuff, because it was a pretty unknown genre. So the day is kind of over there, and I'm sure people are going to be upset about that. I've had numerous people show up on Twitch, and all I want to know is, when is F1 coming to YouTube? And I have to unfortunately say, it's not. It's staying on Twitch. Unfortunate is kind of a misrepresented word, though, because unlike the first time that I tried it, F1 on Twitch, it's going pretty well this time. I'm actually quite enjoying the experience of doing, that kind of stuff on Twitch. I got a little overboard with it. I ended up suddenly doing 3 completely different sim racing series on Twitch, and that wasn't good. My brain could not spare enough energy to do all 3 different formats there. But yeah, it is working out for me, and the audiences generally seem to enjoy it. It's not going to be the same audience that I had on YouTube. Like, I understand that. I was getting 1,000-ish views on that series on YouTube versus, I'll probably only ever see 100 people on Twitch, and then maybe 200 in total with people that watch VODs. And it's a bummer, because that's such a big part of the history of me at this point, that I certainly always wanted that to be something that was, reaching at as many eyeballs as possible. But the 100 or so, 200 or so that are seeing it on Twitch, overall, still more of a positive experience for me than it was previously. So that's how it's going to be. on YouTube, I kind of, again, silently made the call that YouTube is where I will exist as me. No game in the background. So it'll be content that is mostly automotive based. I've kind of become really re-inspired to consume content again. I hadn't done that in a long time, and I think part of the reason for that, at least, was that I was, sharing housing with other people. Didn't have the ability to just like chill in the living room and watch TV for a little while. So yeah, I just have more time to enjoy content like that, and I've ended up watching a bunch of different and new to me automotive YouTubers, and that unfortunately sparked that desire in me of like, this is it. This is what I've always wanted to do, and this is stuff that I feel I can do, and I can do as well, if not better, than a lot of the people that I watch. Which is a horrible, horrible problem. I never should have done that, because inspiration is really just the fuel for depression for me. I kicked off there with a ton of ambition and a ton of goals, and I really worked quite hard for that first month or so to be like hammering out content and trying to do unique things, and I very quickly spiraled into that, shoving myself into bad financial positions to try to accomplish that. Luckily, I broke out of it fairly quickly and remembered, hey, you have a house to pay for now. You have bills and responsibilities. You can't do this anymore. That's not a lifestyle that I can. I mean, I couldn't before, but I can even less now try to do that stuff. So pulled myself back, and kind of for the time being, making videos, making the automotive content, it's going to be a hobby for me. It is not my priority. I am a full-time Twitch streamer, and having done that on a much more full-time basis has been really a positive thing overall. I'm working hours that I'm comfortable with, but yet enough that it keeps me relevant enough to keep kind of some growth going on the Twitch channel, which pretty much never happened after I became a partner. That was basically it for growth for me. So on that side of things, it's been good, and that is, it's not like a big compromise there for me. I really do enjoy live streaming. I like the community that we have around us, and it's super interactive, and I genuinely feel good about it. I don't know. That's how it's going to be for now. That's where we're gonna sit for a little while. But I am still going to be making automotive videos, mostly because I'm still very committed to getting the ramp truck, restored / modified the way I want. I'm still very committed to getting the 240 back to autocross. It's now been way too many years since I've even done any autocross. That's a huge branch down the road there. Rural. So yeah, there's going to still be that stuff, just maybe not to the degree that I would like. And the hope is that, hey, maybe someday, through me just keeping doing that stuff, when I can raise the funds for it, when it's sensible to do that stuff, then maybe something will catch on, and we'll get a broader audience for that stuff. The encouraging thing is, doing that stuff again, I was able to bring that stuff to a whole new audience that had never seen that side of me, and a bunch of people that were basically completely new to that style of hobby altogether, like the automotive stuff. So even though it didn't work out for me altogether, like it kind of put me in a bad spot, it was still super fun seeing that enthusiasm. I love nothing more than to share my favorite hobbies and obsessions with other people that are receptive to it and are excited about it. And there's no greater feeling than kind of being the first to explain something to somebody. It's a really enlightening experience. It's very fun, and it just feels good. Topic number 2, North Carolina. So far, so good. Haven't gone broke yet, which is impressive. It's been this year is a little hard to count, months, because they're variable in length. It's super weird. I think it's been 6 months now since I've been up here, so half a year, and haven't tanked yet. That's great, and I don't hate it. That's for sure. I actually quite love it. I do a lot of driving just for the sake of driving, because I just love driving through the countryside and taking trips up to the mountains and whatnot. Super fun. And the ruralness of the city that I live in ended up being a pretty good fit for me. It's not a perfect situation, there's a lot of things that it's hard to get, especially when I was doing the car stuff on a regular. It was like, oh great, I need, I don't know, whatever, this little part. I could drive an hour to go get it, and maybe they'll have it, or I'll have to order it, and there's no quick shipping here because I'm in the middle of nowhere, so I'll have to wait a couple days, and it's a lot of stop and go due to that. But I've had no issues with neighbors. I did kind of gain a neighbor next to me, but they've been super quiet, very respectful, and it's just been really good. I haven't really done much with the house, as much as I would like to. Just kind of slowly regaining all of the things that you need, especially to live on your own. The stupid stuff for the kitchen, or just little things here or there that it's like, oh, I need that. And that has pretty much consumed any of the budget that I had set aside for doing stuff with the house. But there's time. There's no reason that I should be putting any pressure on myself, especially for the first year, before I really start to feel settled and feel like I'm ready to start to really try to improve the house and stuff like that. Just kind of giving myself time there. Haven't really done much with the garage either, just some little things here or there. It has also been very warm. It is, I moved, 6-7 hours north, but I am still in the south. It is still very, very warm. Tractor in the road. So yeah, it's been not great weather for being out in the garage and doing car working projects. So the timing was kind of right there to relax on that stuff a little bit. And it should be only 2 or 3 weeks from now that things start to cool off up here, and we'll get some days that are bearable out there. I've not been handling the heat very well. I never did actually completely get my thyroid issues worked out, or whatever was going on there, and I definitely still do not handle heat very well at all. So even when I can go out there and work in the garage, it's kind of for short bursts right now. I did actually get to finally show my parents, the area, and they got to visit for the first time. Never in my wildest dreams would I have imagined that, I would live up here for 6 months before they even, got to see it or experience it. I'm sure that was difficult for them, especially since I kind of sprung that on them quite a bit, actually. It was it was a rather sudden and dramatic thing. Kind of the first one of the family to leave the area. So yeah, it was tough, but I think they really enjoyed their time up here, and I enjoyed showing them around, and I enjoyed having an excuse to do a bunch more exploring. And I look forward to them being able to come up and visit again in the future, because yeah, like I said, I really enjoy the area. There's lots of cool nature stuff to visit. Obviously, there's other things to visit, but this is just kind of not the time for it. And I still feel like I made a good choice there. The price was right. The cost of living is cheaper here. The area just works out better for me. Like I feel like I belong here. I don't feel horribly out of place, which is something that I haven't been able to say for a long time. The only thing that ever feels out of place is this car. This car is horribly out of place here, especially like where I live. I get a lot of people that are, I don't know, they kind of look at this car as something more than it is, just because Audi as a brand doesn't exist here. Very few Volkswagens, no Audis. Like it is almost like maybe I'll see an A4 or something a month. So I think people think of this car as some kind of like super expensive exotic car, just because it's a weird shape and they've never seen one before. Yeah, it's a little out of place, which is weird because this car probably costs less for me than all of their cars that are, making that judgment. So it's kind of a weird situation where I think they probably see me as like I'm some budding entrepreneur, when in reality, like I've never made enough money to have afforded this car when it was new, and I only have it because it was cheap. So that's the only thing that's been that situation where I'm like, I don't know if I fit in here. On the flip side, driving the ramp truck around town is a very weird experience, because you get a lot of head nods, you get a lot of like, I don't know, just general people appreciating it because it's, look at that old Ford. And it's very different versus back when I lived in Florida. It was almost like comical to people to see that thing out on the road. It was like a spectacle. It was like, what is this doing here? How is that still driving? What is going on? Versus here, I see lots of pickup trucks that are that old. So, in summary, yeah, it's been really great living up here. I have enjoyed it thoroughly. As far as, I guess, topic number 3, where is the car content going? What am I doing from here? I kind of started into some of the body work on the truck. Didn't get very far into that before the heat started to get to me, and more than anything, the tools started to get to me. I forgot. It's been a long time. It's been almost a decade since I really did any body work. Although I did do some stuff on the Supra, but that wasn't my build. Like that wasn't my build, and it wasn't my build. So if I needed a tool, I would be like, Slag, I need a tool for this, and he would buy the tool for that. I kind of split some of that stuff up. I left some of it down there. I did bring some of it with me, with the intention of I'm probably going to, bring that stuff back down to him someday. But, I feel as though I did enough work for him on that Supra that, he can spare not having our crappy little welder thing there for a little while, because I don't know if he was ever really that interested in welding anyway, or doing that kind of work. He did end up with an old Ford truck, kind of similar era to mine, which is it's funny. So for the ramp truck, I'm going to continue to do the body work when I can, but that's not a huge priority. That's just kind of a thing to do when I can. I want to redo the brakes, so I'm going to run new hard lines from front to back to try to get the rear brakes to work, because I'm still pretty convinced that we have 0 rear brakes at the moment. It's all front brake all the time. So that's one of the things on a current time frame. I need to get a flaring and bending tool and all, the tools that go with that. I've never done brake lines before, so that'll be totally new to me, and I'm kind of excited to learn that and to have the tools to do it, because that's a skill and a tool set that'll be nice to have in the future. I've made a decision, if you watch Around When Parked, that I am likely going to change the drivetrain in the truck. So there will be, spread amongst all of the other things, I'm going to be trying to put away some money over time to try to find a parts truck. I want to find a 1988 to 1997 F350 with a 460, because the 460 came with an actual 5-speed manual. That 5-speed manual can be adapted, put behind my FE. However, it would cost thousands of dollars just to put that transmission behind it, and in the grand scheme of things, thousands of dollars to do that. I could spend a couple $1,000s on a full truck with a better engine that'll be fuel injected, which is what I've always wanted to do anyway, have plenty of power, and have plenty of gear. The 5-speed box that came behind the 460 has a high ratio first gear to help, lug those heavy loads up hills and whatnot, and it has an overdrive 5th gear. So that's basically 3 more gears than I have to work with now. And as much as I love the FE for its kind of like old school simplicity, and it's a good looking engine, it's a nice sounding engine, I don't think it's worth the sacrifice of usability for the truck to try and keep it. I could spend many thousands of dollars putting an overdrive transmission behind it, but even that, it's not going to have a good first gear. The overdrive might be overdriven, and the engine might not be able to have enough power to cruise. So yeah, it seems to me that although is maybe the cooler way to go, isn't the right way to go, because my goal is not to have a showpiece. My goal is to have a work piece. Like, the ramp truck is supposed to be a work vehicle. It's supposed to haul the 240 or, random project cars around. Yes, I want it to look cool. Yes, I have that vision in my head still of them, being painted alike, and it lets me fake being that cool grassroots race car driver that I always wanted to be, but basically can't be. So it's still important to me that I accomplished that, but it's more important to me that I feel comfortable turning the key, firing it up, driving to wherever we need to drive. That is the big goal. So that might take months, that might take years, who knows? I don't know when that's going to happen. It depends on how things go. But I definitely feel like that's the way I'm going to go with things. But because that's going to take a while, and I recognize that that's going to take a while, I'm going to prioritize doing the other things that don't have to do with the drivetrain first. So we'll get the body work done. We'll get, brakes sorted. We'll get the suspension sorted. Things still needs shocks like no tomorrow. It still needs little things here and there. Still need to modify the ramps. Still need to modify the bed a little bit to make it better for the 240. The winch situation isn't perfect. So yeah, there's tons of things we can do with that truck before we start messing with the drivetrain. And it is usable right now. Like, I could load the 240 up on it and take the 240 somewhere. Like, we know it can do it. It brought the thing up from Florida. So it can happen. And, we'll have to see from there. For the 240, The first thing on the list is the next step of the ECU modifications that I was working on. So the next thing I'm going to do is we're going to convert it to coil unplugged. So we're going to get rid of the Ford wasted spark system that's on there now. The system that's on it now works, but I have to run a massively narrow gapped spark plug to keep it from blowing out spark, because it just doesn't have enough spark energy to function. It needs more coil, and the way that wasted spark system works right now is it's batch firing, so it's using that coil for the combustion and the exhaust stroke, which puts even more strain on it, more heat into it. You really just can't push the thing very hard. So converting the coil unplug is a priority for me, and that's the next thing I'm working on. I have most of the parts ready for that. I just ordered coils, and that'll be an interesting project. It will also let us ditch. Oops, I just grabbed the microphone. It will also let us ditch the fuel cut for rev limiter, and will let us fully use the launch control in the future. So that'll be nice, and that'll be cool. Do want to do the 5-lug conversion on it yet, and that's a big one. That's a big pricey one there, but definitely something that needs to happen. That I'm trying to kind of hold off on to until I feel like I'm ready to race. Like, there's no sense in buying new wheels and tires for that car and then not race, because buying sticky tires and not using them is literally pissing away money, because those sticky tires get less sticky every day that you own them and they're not being used. So I want to wait until I feel like, you know what, we're getting close. I think we might go back to racing here soon. So I don't want to push that. And that's kind of everything that's on my immediate radar for now. And I guess that's everything that's been going on in the world of the Kone, and I don't think I have too much other stuff to go over. I'm continuing to keep my content as entertainment. I know it's difficult during these times. It's difficult for me. I would love nothing more on occasion than to just sit here and spout out, things about all the different world events of the moment. But I continue to want my content to be an escape for you. I hope that is good. I hope that it sees you well, and I hope that you are doing well through everything. And I thank you for continuing to take the time to support me and watch my stuff, and hopefully I'm continuing to entertain. That'll do it for now. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time on the road.